The UK is on the cusp of a major transformation as Keir Starmer prepares to unveil a potentially game-changing initiative, a nationwide digital ID scheme. While the details are set to be revealed in a speech this Friday, preliminary insights suggest that this program aims to tackle illegal employment and bring a modern touch to governmental processes. Starmer's perspective, shared by key officials, is that a comprehensive digital ID would not only streamline identity verification, but also strengthen efforts against those illegally working in the UK. However, the execution of such a program hinges on a forthcoming consultation, which will address how the system can accommodate individuals who may not possess a smartphone or passport, ensuring inclusivity in its implementation. Interestingly, the concept of mandatory ID cards isn't new. The previous Labour government attempted to implement them, but this effort was stymied by opposition from the Conservative Liberal Democrat coalition. Fast forward to the present day, Starmer believes that societal attitudes towards digital identification have evolved significantly since that time. We all possess far more digital forms of ID today than we did 2 decades ago, which shifts the psychological notion of ID in our lives, he explained in a recent interview, suggesting an increased acceptance of digital identities among the general public. Insider reports indicate that the new digital ID scheme is intended to replace the traditional reliance on physical documents when verifying a person's right to live and work in the UK. Currently, these checks necessitate actual documents, although since 2022, there have been avenues for conducting online verifications for certain individuals. Notably, this digital ID concept was absent from Labour's election manifesto last year. And prior to this, the government had dismissed a similar proposition from former Labour Prime Minister Sir Tony Blair. Yet, recent developments suggest growing enthusiasm among ministers for the initiative, as they face increasing scrutiny and pressure to address issues related to illegal migration. Specifically, Cabinet Office Minister Pat McFadden has advocated for the scheme, emphasizing its potential to enhance access to various government services. His recent visit to Estonia serves as a case study. There, citizens use digital IDs to access an array of services, ranging from healthcare records to voting. However, the proposal has not been without its critics. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has labeled the move as a potentially serious decision that warrants thorough national dialogue. She has criticized the government's announcement, suggesting it may simply serve as a diversion from other political issues, particularly in light of the Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham's leadership activities ahead of Labour's annual conference. Additionally, she has expressed skepticism regarding the efficacy of digital ID in genuinely addressing the issue of illegal work in the UK, asserting that it won't resolve the complexities involved. Reform UK has condemned the Digital ID initiative, branding it a cynical maneuver intended to mislead voters about the government's actions toward illegal immigration. They argued that expecting individuals who are already breaking immigration laws to suddenly comply with a digital ID is unrealistic and will only infringe upon the freedoms of law-abiding citizens. The Liberal Democrats, who played a decisive role in halting the Labour government's initial ID card effort, have voiced their opposition to a mandatory scheme, stressing that individuals should not be criminalized simply for lacking a digital ID or choosing to opt out. Victoria Collins, the party's technology spokesperson, articulated this sentiment clearly. On the other hand, former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, who is on the brink of launching a new left-oriented political party, has clearly stated his disapproval of the compulsory digital ID initiative, labeling it a significant violation of civil liberties. As of now, employers are already obligated to verify that job candidates have the legal right to work in the UK. Notably, since last year, they have been capable of performing checks on British and Irish citizens holding passports through government-certified digital verification services. There also exists an online verification system through the Home Office for some non-British or Irish citizens based on their electronic immigration status. Moreover, the government is incrementally transitioning away from physical permits, moving towards e-visas that function solely online. Officials are currently examining how a digital ID requirement might deliver a more uniform approach to identity verification. They are also considering whether such a scheme could diminish the prevalence of counterfeit documents and facilitate targeted enforcement actions. Nevertheless, concerns have been raised by groups like the Open Rights Group, which champions civil liberties, arguing that the rollout of e-visas has experienced its share of data errors and system failures. They caution that the proposed digital ID schemes may be paving the way towards a pre-crime state, where individuals are compelled to perpetually validate their identity throughout their daily routines. In his forthcoming address on Friday, Starmer is also expected to tackle the friction surrounding immigration issues, marked by a wave of protests that occurred outside asylum hotels this summer. In discussions with international leaders, including those from Australia and Canada, he plans to outline a choice between a politics of grievance that exploits the challenges faced by working-class citizens and a politics of patriotic renewal aimed at unifying the nation. He will highlight the toxicity present in current online forums, which have amplified harmful narratives that suggest there is an impending, defining struggle for the nation itself. Earlier this month, a significant far-right march led by activist Tommy Robinson attracted around 150,000 participants in the capital, many of whom displayed national flags. Simultaneously, Starmer may defend his government's measures aimed at regulating immigration, claiming that for far too long it has been overly simple for individuals to enter the country, get lost in the underground economy, and reside here illegally. He will assert that relying on labor that exploits foreign workers, which undermines fair wages, cannot be classified as compassionate politics from the left. Ultimately, Starmer argues that every nation must maintain control over its borders, a sentiment he explores in more detail in a piece for The Telegraph, where he reflects on the reluctance of left-leaning parties, including his own, to openly address public concerns regarding illegal immigration in previous years. Although he refrains from singling out specific past labor leaders, he underscores the need for a more proactive approach to these pressing issues. He dismisses the simplistic strategies suggested by reform as counterproductive, emphasizing that while there is no easy solution, all conceivable measures must be enforced to deter unauthorized migrants from entering British waters.